And welcome to Burn the Stockpiles. This is Jupiter from Manlius, New York, and I have with me
Hey, it's Dominic from Canada.
Canada. We're gonna get this down at the beginning at some point, but that intro music was music that was commissioned by me, but from Karen Brown. I'm gonna give her shouts out because it is awesome. I love it, and I'm excited to bring that to Burn the Stockpiles. That is our official intro theme for the thing. So we're growing and we're gonna get better. Sorry we had to take a week off last week, but I had a power outage on the Wednesday when we normally record, so it was really bad timing. And by the time we got power back, it was too late for Dominic. So we just decided to go by the wayside. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a twofer today, right, Dominic?
100%. And it's funny you mentioned the power outage. I just actually had one the other day. And speaking about power outages, one card that we're going to be talking about today usually gives me an outage because I'm not a big fan. But the other card, it's pretty rad if you get my drift.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about a bad penny, which is a person or sometimes a thing that is unwelcome, someone or something that apparently, reoccurringly, seemingly, because fate is taunting you. The presence of a bad penny is a personal vexation. The term bad penny is part of the proverb, a bad penny always turns up. As as often happens, the latter part of the proverb is usually dropped with the assumption that the proverb is so well known, the listener will be filling in the ending. So basically, a bad penny is a negative omen, like, right? But yet here she is, a beloved character to most people who play Keyforge.
Yeah, it's Bad Penny is I think it's basically it's one of the poster childs of Keyforge, at least for the card game aspect, is that people love and hate this character. Sometimes they get good combinations, and other times there's like, oh, I just gotta discard this card.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take you into the mode here, and we're gonna show you the Bad Penny artwork. And here it is. We are doing this as a VOD, so it's meant to be kind of a podcast, but because it has visual elements to it, we decided that it would be best to put on YouTube. So feel free to listen to it and just listen to it if you think you know the art well enough to listen and enjoy it. But I think the best experience is going to come through these YouTube VODs. So this is how we're going to present. So here's the artwork. I am looking at this is off of the artstation.com page, where we get like kind of a full look at the bad penny here. And I'll let you go ahead and start with your elements, what you like in the fantasy side of it, and I'll come in with my technical parts of the things that I really dig about this in a second while Harlan calms down.
Hey, no worries at all. It's yeah. So Bad Penny art here looks really cool. There's quite a few aspects that I like. So I won't go into the things that aren't on the card yet, but I will talk about the fantasy aspects. As Jupiter was saying, is that it's cool. You get to see that Bad Penny basically just dropped in on some type of like a bird. It looks like it's straight out of like a Lord of the Rings, like an eagle or a falcon, like a giant one that just dropped her off. And I would dare say this might even be a part of Hub City or maybe another major city, and she's about to do some mischief, some crime. Maybe meet up with the twins if you know the twins, which is interesting if you're into Keyforge about how they came about as well. But as far as the art here, yeah, I love that she just came flying down and she's holding on to her hat here, and she's like, "Yeah, it's time to do some business." It's some great choices of colors here. I really like the skin tone's really nice, and of course you got the shadow. I forget what they're called. I'm not sure if they have a name, but the little triangulations, the three little dots, and like basically it's a very common theme within the shadows characters, and it represents something that I should probably look up in my Genesis book. So I apologize for the RPG fans and the Keyforge fans. I do need to look that up and get the information behind like why that's representative of shadows. But yeah, it's very humanized. I believe Bad Penny is an elf, if I'm correct. Is that correct? I think she is, right? In this art, she almost does look human, but that's because you can't see the ears per se, right? So it almost looks like a female human, but it still could be an elf easily. Um, and yeah, it just there's a lot of things that are interesting in this. Like I love that she's coming in, so it's a nice bright day. that she's dropping in, and normally you're thinking of shadows hiding in the shadows or whatnot, but she still has that shadowy, dark makeup, which she's ready to, instead of go to war, she's ready to sneak in and get into mischief. It's an interesting choice that she has her like. It's almost I would call like what would you call that? She has her goggles there, and it would have been interesting. They chose to keep them down, but she's used to flying on this bird, coming in and dropping in. And a bad penny is an interesting penny. I'm not so sure about her.
Well, I think that it's interesting that you think that she flew in on the bird. That's pretty an interesting thought, and it looks like it probably is big enough for her to ride on. So like as it flies away, but at the same time, like I do like the art aspects in this a lot because we have this railway, right, that like it basically cuts through the middle of the picture and gives you like a slight downward angle, which like gives you that pull into the picture. So you get this like sense of like motion that's pulling you into the picture, right? And she's walking the opposite way, so she's already starting a kind of like a contradictory like element of how the picture is moving, right? So you have this like collision between the two, right? And I think that that's pretty wild. And if you look at the walkway that she's on, even the angle that goes into that is almost perpendicular to the angle that's going across the middle. And I think that that helps again draw the picture to like into that spot. So I think the main focus of the main draw of my attention here is on Bad Penny's face, even though it's not dead center. Like everything seems to be pushing to that, right? And then in the background, you see these great, this great building that's all ripped apart. It reminds me of like the movie Divergent, in like kind of like the way the cities and stuff ended up, or like maybe like the Hunger Games, like where the cities got blasted and stuff. So there's something like crazy bad going on in the city, and like I don't know what it is. And you mentioned the twins. I don't know who the twins are, so you teased me with that. Like I'd be curious to hear a little bit more about these people. Maybe they come up on a different card art. I'm guessing they might be the Chain Gang guys. I don't know, but either way.
Uh, oh, you must know the A Vinda and J Vinda.
Oh, the Vindas. I got you. I didn't know where you were heading with that lineup, but
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because
uh,
they talk about Bad Penny.
oh, okay. Maybe they're a click, but the three dots that you mentioned too, that you see throughout the symbolism here, like I do know that there is a like it has a serious like mafia type overtone to it because I know that like some groups are known to have those three dots. It's popular with the M13s. It's popular with the like it's called a placa, and like it's popular also with triad like groups. So like I don't know if that's why they used it, but that would be a weird like negative kind of connotation. But at the same time, it is a shadows creature, so like it makes sense for them to be that kind of thought process to it. And as far as the art goes here too, like I do like the way that they use the feathers of the bird to really put motion again into Bad Penny, because like there's this weird like circular like tunnel that pulls you down from the bird, right, or up to the bird depending on how you're looking at it. But this picture, for being a very simple like character shot, has a lot of movement because of the choices that the artist here made with the curvy wings that kind of make the circular thing, with the way that they decided to use their perspectives, with the railway going one way and the walkway going into it and pulling it all into this weird like big circle. And then that grin on her face is just classic. Like that's Bad Penny, right? And this is probably why people like to play her, role player her and stuff like that, because it looks like a pretty fun costume. And the idea of the Bad Penny, like I guess if you're at a tournament and you see her, you should get away from her because you're probably not going to make top 8.
Oh, ouch! It's interesting. You mentioned the aspect of role playing is that we'll probably have to maybe on the Facebook group, maybe if one of the viewers or if I can find or if you can find Jupiter. I remember there was a really good picture of someone that was role playing Bad Penny at one of. Do you know which con that was at? I can't remember. Someone posted the picture and it was a pretty good costume. Just as a quick shout out for that one.
Yeah, I don't remember where it was. I want to say it was Collinsville-ish, like at one of the not Collinsville, but like the cons, like the Gen Con or something like that. But I don't really recall where or who it was. But yeah, there was somebody that did role play her, and like I guess that's just, I wonder how many people she actually talked to and if they actually placed in the top 8, any of them.
That's fair. So speaking about the card aspect, I think we can jump in here. Just talking about, because you actually did mention something that both of us, when we're talking about this card, when we saw the full art, we're like, oh, that was never in the original card. So with the cropping here, if when viewers look at the original Bad Penny card, and if you didn't know, the reason why we're saying that it's such an interesting and sometimes bad card is that basically the card's a 1 power, and when it's destroyed, you return Bad Penny to your hand. But where that destroyed building is, where you're wondering is if this is like in Hub City, and you're wondering what's going on in the background. That doesn't show up in the card at all, and that's probably just because of the cropping. They want to make sure that you get the full image of Bad Penny, which really stands out in the card. And the bird in the full image pops out more, and so does that building, I find. But it does add a little bit of interest because I am very curious. I'm like, I wonder where this is at. I wonder why that building's been destroyed, and I'm curious about that history. So it's just a little interesting little tidbit that will have been interesting to know more about, or if the artist just put that in there for any particular reason for that.
Yeah, so like the artists, like we talked a little bit to Balance Sheet, who's Steve Hamilton out of Baja, Mexico, and he told me in a little back and forth that basically they just paint to the to their what they're painting and stuff like that, and then they crop the image to the card, and they don't really have control over that. So being an artist, you really are going to always put the do your best to basically put it forward and let your customer do what they want with it, right? So the croppings sometimes maybe aren't even like the best croppings, but for the most part, they're what FFG wants for their card. So, but I think sometimes you lose the movement in the pictures when you take stuff like that out. Like I think that the you mentioned how it's like more in tune towards her face and towards the building and the hawk, and like how those are the things that are there and stuff, and you still have that nice like line that goes through the middle and kind of pushes you down and back into the picture. But I don't think it's as strong without that parallel aspect, like the sidewalk that goes into the side of the building, because that kind of gives you the full perspective, like movement angle. So with that said, hey Dominic, you know who painted this?
Yeah, of course. So this is, and I apologize because I'm very bad at pronouncing names. So this is Nasrul Hakim. So Nasrul, and last name Hakim. And I apologize again. So Nasrul Hakim, and people can correct me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So he's an artist based, or this member is an artist based in Malaysia, I should say, and they have done. I'm just looking over some of the cards, and they have done a lot of cards. So they did Bad Penny, the Shadow Council, Life for a Life, and a few other cards. Zookeeper, which is one of my favorite. But they actually have done quite a bit of work for FFG. So we'll probably be covering some other of their cards a little bit later on. So just a quick shout out to Nazar Hakim from Malaysia, and happy to review the art. It's I'm not a big fan of the card itself, but the art is really nice.
Yeah, it's cool because like it kind of like now that it's Malaysian, I could kind of I get it, like the style that I see, because like it's a very clean style with a like thing. It has more texture than say like Japanese animation, like anime, but like it still has like a lot of the same characteristics with the eyes, the big eyes, wide open eyes, and like the simple face and nose and stuff. But it has still a little bit more detail than what some anime like the anime styles have because of like the extra tones and stuff that they're using. And it made me like also look a little bit closer at her, and it's funny how dirty Bad Penny is. Like, because when you think of a bad penny, you think of probably one that's been on the ground and stepped on a bit, and like it's just just not looking great. And if you look closely, like in the details here, like I'll zoom in to show you what I'm talking about. But like you see like on her arm, like on her arms, and like a little bit on her face, like underneath the eyes where that brown stuff is, you could see like all the I'm guessing that the stuff that's over her eyes is some kind of dirt. Like, and I don't know if that's like for tactical reasons or what, but like it's interesting to me because like I just kind of noticed it when I was thinking, and I was thinking bad penny, like what would a bad penny be? And a bad penny would be one that was probably beat up a bit, right? And like so, and she probably doesn't have the best reputation with the Safar elves. You being the lore master, I'm pretty sure that they've mentioned that like she's probably not very welcome most of the times when she does show up.
Well, I'll read a quick line here, actually, because I was talking about A Vinda and J Vinda, and that the line here is that says, "Hey, my sister and I have a job lineup. You in, Penny?" So she got some elf friends at least. She got the twins are on her side. And for those that don't know, Avinda and Javinda, it's a perfect match. Especially Avinda, his ability perfectly coincides with Bad Penny and doing some mischief because it's deal 1 damage to a creature, and if this damage destroys that creature, your opponent discards a random card from their hand, which thematically is hilarious to me because most of the time you're going to want to discard Bad Penny, and now you're forcing your opponent with this combination. And speaking about thematics, I wanted to talk about. I think I already know your answer, but thematically, when we're talking about what the card does and the art that we see, uh, we're talking about a character, but I think this. What do you think about Bad Penny? What do you think of thematically? Does it fit in, and how much, if so?
I would think that I think it fits, but I don't think it like overwhelms me. Like I don't think it overwhelms me with the idea of how the card works, because with the ability like where it's like she's destroyed, she like comes back and like she just never dies, she goes right back to your hand. It's like that would make me think that this thing was immortal or something, and there's nothing that really says immortal to me about it. But it's not wrong. Like this is kind of like she's a thief. Like she looks like a thief. So I don't know. I'm kind of like in torn. So I say like 50-50. I think that it fits. It's not like the 100% home run of burning the stockpiles, but I don't think it's wrong. But I don't know if it's fully right to me.
Well, and that's fair. For me, it's I'm pretty much like a 90-10 that it fits. And the reason why is I look more of it as the destroyed effect, and I apologize for the viewers that are thinking more of the art. But of course, since we're coming from the card game, this is what we talk about. But I look at it more as it fits thematically pretty much right on. There's some things that do step out, like the destroyed. I don't think so much as the destroyed fully. I think of when you try to go to destroy the Bad Penny. Instead, she sneaks away and she figures out a way to just jump back in and comes back down a little bit later on. And what's interesting is thematically, I like the returning to your hand. I look at it as like we have this bird in the background. It's like, well, she's gone away, but now she can come jump back into a different part of the city and create some more mischief. So
Well,
interesting views.
with that point, like I kind of maybe think maybe 60-40 now, because when you mention the bird again, I go, well, what if that bird is a crow? And the crow is one of my favorite like graphic novels slash movies. So like I'm like, well, maybe this crow is what brings Bad Penny back all the time, right? Maybe that's why she can't get killed. Maybe that's why she has this repetitive nature about her and her business. So maybe that tips the card a little bit more towards me liking it. So
Uh, and that's actually interesting because when you mentioned the crow, I just Googled it right now. Well, no, it's a little bit far fetched, but the crow does have that like black eyeliner underneath of his eyes. I don't think
oh, that's a
it's
far stretch, yeah,
supposed to be.
but I get it, yeah. But no, yeah, but the crow is the messenger, like the between like life and death, according to the graphic novel, and like this makes a lot of sense. And just because her version of the crow eye thing that isn't the same exactly, it still has the eye shadow, so that is a good parallel as well. So maybe that is why. Maybe this does fit. Maybe I'm like more into the 70 camp now, because like the more I think about the crow, the more I go, yeah, that kind of works.
I actually like that theory. That's so if you're listening in, let us know what you think of about that. That's actually that one's interesting. I didn't even think about that until now, so that's a good one, Jupiter.
Oh, thanks. Like, so why we're here, right? These discussions help you appreciate this more, hopefully, and that's the fun of it, right? So, like now that we've talked about the Bad Penny, let's give you your twofer, and let's get Rad. So I'm switching over to the Rad Penny artwork here on the Art Station, and this is a completely different color palette. Like it's same, and the funny thing is, it's the same color palette, but it's the way that it's lit because of the dark amber aspect that makes it like a lot brighter, I think, right? But she still has the same face paint, same gear for the most part, right? But she's like in the middle of this, so I guess she took up A Venda and J Venda up on their offer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's yeah, I like this took them up on their offer and maybe was stealing a little bit too much dark amber, and I think that coincides with the mutation aspect of mass mutation, the card set, and the artwork goes hand in hand, works perfectly here. So we were talking about this offline about a week back, and we had a little bit of disagreement, but I'll get to that in a minute because I gotta remember the name of the card I'm thinking of. But as far as the Dark Amber, I like that she
Mutagenic
has
serum.
a piece of
His mutagenic
she has a
serum.
piece of oh yes, that's what it's called. Thank you very much. Uh, but she has this piece of dark amber that just attached to her satchel there, and I love that. I'm like, is that amber that she stole? Has she had this for a long time? Is that giving her lucky charm? Is that what made her rad and give her that crazy mutated tail that's helping her out? But overall, the art here is I love this art. It very much feels like to me using parallel different universe. I know so sacrilege, but I feel like this is almost like a Star Wars scene that I'm looking at here, where she's like sneaking into an alien vendor and stealing this serum to sell it on the black market of course, with the top of the roof there open and taking as much as possible while the person's turned away. And what's interesting is when we were reviewing this art as well, in the concept art, you could see that they had different options about the way that she was positioned and whatnot. And curious. Hmm?
I scrolled to
Oh
it so
yeah,
they can
there you
see it.
go.
So they can see all three.
And the big thing here is that it's super interesting. So you see A, B, and C. So let us know in the comments what you think. Like, which one do you like best? Do you think that the art that they chose, that the artist chose here? And by the way, the artist here is Philip Martini, and or Philip Martini. They're from Brazil, and they actually did just a few cards. So they've done, it looks like 7 cards. 3 of them were shadows. So the person's a big fan of doing shadows, perhaps. And this red paint's a beautiful piece of art, to be honest. But getting back from my tangent there, sorry I go off sometimes. Is that, which one do you think A, B, or C is the best option? Uh, I do like the choice that they picked it, but I think that as well. I kind of like B as well. I don't know what you think, but like B would have been a fun one to see because it looks like he's still turned around, but she's like, hey, just checking back to see if the person can see her. But yeah, it's interesting choice for initial review of it.
All right, so my point, the technical points, and the things that maybe I change your opinion with, right, is okay. So I'm still looking at the A, B, and C. C is great because it has this awesome motion, right? We have the diagonals that push in with the foot pushing off. You get the sense of motion and stuff. But the tail looks really weak, right? It would have had to be adjusted in the final copy because it doesn't look like it's really. It's not the same kind of grip and like thing. It's definitely swinging. It's taunt because of the swing and stuff, but I don't necessarily. I think that would have been fixed in the final art, right? Like there's going to be obviously better art and stuff, but I like the motion in C and stuff like that, but not the one I would choose. B is a very straightforward piece, right? Like it's very up and down. Like it's basically has this like very center axis like kind of thing going on, and like it's cool. She's stealing. You have like this whole, like little ball and stuff. But again, like there's no motion there. It's like in this picture to me she's hanging and she's like basically just trying not to get caught, being quiet and picking them up, just hanging without any real sway or motion to it and stuff. So then we come back to A, which is the piece that they used, right? And why is A amazing? I'm going to explain to you. Because if you look at the very top of the piece, right, like up here where I'm showing you guys now, there is a window, right, that is wide open on the roof. And the way that she's angled coming down, it's like she's coming down through this roof. Her tail is catching the pipe, right? You see it's still coiled, so it's still catching the pipe physically. And she's coming down and she's basically grabbing like things and basically she's like taunting up. So she either, I'm guessing at this point, because there are like bottles in her bag and stuff like that, is that she's getting ready to get out of there because the tail is starting to curl up and pull her back up, and she's going to go right back out the way she came in because she wants to be in and out quick. She doesn't want to get caught. This guy's like right there, like selling stuff, like pitching his pitch, and she's grabbing stuff. Now the mutagenic serum theory, I have an evolution for this, right? Maybe she's stealing it because she needs it. because maybe it is what helps fuel the dark amber. So when maybe the dark amber has like a duration, and that this serum helps to make it, last longer or go longer. So maybe that's why this is such a hot commodity, and this goblin is trying to sell it or whatever he is. So maybe that's why she's stealing it, or maybe she's just stealing it because she wants to mess with people and turn people into chickens. I don't know, but either way, I do like the piece that they picked, and I like it because of the full. Like I feel like I get the full like interaction here. I feel like she's in and out, like and like you got the window there, and she's angled towards it. You have this nice body contour that's pulling you through on that diagonal that I like so much with the parallel and the cross piece with the bar. Uh, just a lot of things, and like all the pipes and stuff and the shelves and stuff are adding to the perspective to give you like push you forward to where the vendor is, and the vendor's doing his best sales pitch there, and she's just in and out, like, and she's like she doesn't fit there. She's like in, she's gonna be out before this guy even knows that there's stuff missing. So that's kind of where I take it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you take it that way, and I think of like this picture. As soon as I see it laid out like that, and I think a lot of people will go this way. It feels very Mission Impossible style, like she's coming down, except she doesn't need like any rope or anything. She has her mutated tail to bring her down, and I'm hoping. And it's funny because I think I got Jupiter on my side because initially before we came on. And this is again a week ago. So now are you in agreement that you think it is the serum because you weren't so sure prior to this, if you remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the sperm or not, but like it makes sense that she would be stealing it if she was using it for her own reasons. Like I don't think she's just stealing mutagenic serum just to steal it. Maybe she's on a job, like maybe like Avinda and Javinda are out front keeping him busy while she grabs these vials and stuff like that. But I don't know because like mutagenic serum seems something like it would be getting stolen from Logos, or like it would be a Logos pitch. Like, and the Goblin wouldn't have this much mutagenic serum, I don't think. But I mean, the idea of the Dark Amber and refueling the Dark Amber, that does fit for me. So like I do like that concept of it. But I mean, who's to say Logos has all the mutagenic serum? Maybe it's more common than we think.
And yeah, it might be more common than we think. And there's only FFG, perhaps more Genesis RPG material, or someone that wants to write something on that behalf would be interesting. I haven't actually, on a little sidebar, I picked up Tales of the Crucible, but I actually have to read through that book, and I'm curious if there's any short stories that involve like Rad Penny or Bad Penny. But getting back to the art piece itself, is that this picture is I very much like the art. I love the colors like that we've already mentioned as whatnot, but the dynamic of the picture and like her coming in like this feels very much like a rad thing to do. It's like, hey, like she's become a lot cooler coming in. Like she has a boost in confidence. She's been stealing for a while now, but now that she has her tail and now that she's mutated, like something happened to her that she flipped from being bad to this cool rad penny that like everyone, like I feel like everyone in Shadows is talking about, like, man, did you hear about how much Rad Penny stole like all this mutagenic serum and brought back to us? Like now more of us are going to be able to get mutations, and like we'll be able to steal all kinds of stuff, right? Like just all these little stories that I think of when I'm looking at this card. And of course, I'm a massive fan of the card itself. But other parallels that we look at here that's interesting is that the art that you see here, though very much different than Bad Penny, you can tell immediately that this is a Bad Penny. And I'm going to talk about a few things that there's parallels. The first one is that the shadow, where Jupiter thought it was makeup, it almost looks like, now that I look at in the Brad Penny's one, like I thought it was like sorry, you didn't think it was makeup, you thought it was dirt. And I was looking, I'm now thinking it's more, it almost looks like it's like a tattooed onto her face, or a birthmark, I would almost say, which is interesting when I look at this piece of art. So she has that going across her face. The line work is very much the same. You can see that in her hood, she has the chevrons there, and you got the yellow stripes on her legs, and her clothing's also well, she has the same green color that you see in Bad Penny. So her pants that have the stripes, so it's clearly the same character. So it's a very cool reference that the artist definitely went back, looked at Bad Penny, and thought about like how can I make this a rad, and like of course adding that vibrant color, so that having that mutated tail that's the same color as the dark amber is very cool. And I just liked a lot of the things that they did with it. So I don't know if there's anything else that catches your eye like that, Jupiter.
I think what catches me the most is the facial structure, because like when you look at Rad Penny in the Bad Penny, basically, you look at Bad Penny, her facial structure looks very ambiguous, right? Like it could be human, it could be elf, it could be whatever, because like it just looks like a normal face and stuff like that. But I think when you move to Rad Penny with that like, grin on her face and stuff like that, she almost like has like a much more of an elf, I think, feel to it. Like there's a more linear chin. There's like more of a noise, and that has to do with her head being up, right? Like so her neck isn't hidden in the neck wrap that she wears. But I also like for some reason I get this strange like Indian vibe. I feel like an ethnicity to her that is. It makes me think of like Indian, like it like maybe like
Like it's straight from like Aladdin or
yeah, like a dirty jazz man. like a like if Aladdin, if Jasmine was Aladdin, like this is kind of how I
and
feel.
a mutant.
Yeah, and a mutant. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
she's I guess she's like the monkey and Aladdin and Jasmine all put together. Like I guess.
And please don't take offense, viewers, to
No.
any of this. It means it in the most positive way.
No,
Like,
yeah. Like I'm
uh,
just saying, she has a like her facial structure looks like very cool. And it's very cool because it sets apart like in again like when you look at the Bad Penny, it's very ambiguous, like it's very just basic, like you don't really, it doesn't make you think anything like ethnicity wise. You're just like, okay, that's a woman walking in, pulling her hood down, maybe she's like readjusting from falling off the bird or whatever. But like not the face doesn't really do much, right? It doesn't say much. Maybe the grin, like the grin is kind of confident, like yeah, I'm here, cool. But in this one, she's sinister and like she's just like looking awesome. She's like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm gonna get out of here before this guy sees me, and this is fun. Like she's enjoying what she's doing, and she's enjoying the chaos that she brings. So that's kind of like maybe the Dark Ember is just warping her to be the bad Penny, and the only reason that she's rad is because now she can do it with like much more confidence.
yeah, I do like a lot of what you're saying there, and I do see one of the things I see is that because I talked about for Bad Penny that she felt very humanoid, and even though she is an elf, and the elves in Keyforge are called Savar, Svarr elves, so. I think she is part of that, and so they have tones of skin that are more like purple, which of course this image here, this artwork, because the focus is on Rad Penny, but also the dark amber attracts your focus. That purple is just illuminating everything in. I like the color structure here. Not to get too technical, because Jupiter can talk more on that than me, but I like the how like that is just making everything glow. And like when I think of the word rad itself, like I think of things like glowing a bit. I don't know if that's just because of typing in a rad into Facebook and you get like thumbs shooting up and all that stuff. But I think of things glowing on my random tangent there, and I love that. When I think of mutation and whatnot, I think of things being a little bit more interesting. And what I also find interesting is that when I think of the serum that you see here, so the mutagenic serum, it's very cool that the focus is on Rad Penny, and this may or may not be the serum. I believe it is, but they made it toned way down in this artwork because you want to focus like you're focusing mainly on Rad Penny.
Yeah, this piece right here has kind of like a Disney-esque, like the old school Disney like panel painting kind of feel, where it's like
Mm.
she feels like she's the front panel, like right, like and there's like there obviously the one in the very front would be the front panel, but she's definitely the focus and she's trapped between the layers that they've created by making her so vibrant and everything else so dull, right? So I agree 100% with what you're pitching there.
Yeah, and so just a few more things that I'd like to cover. One of them is so talking about the card cropping. So it's a thing that we're going to try to do for all the cards, just things that you might not have seen. So we probably mentioned a few things that have been like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting. This one is actually there's a few interesting things because when I initially looked at the card and when we looked at this card together, uh, or like yeah, they captured a lot of the essence of the full card. Uh, Sorry, the full art into the card, and I think that still remains true. But one of the things that is interesting, two of the things actually, I got 2 points. The first one is that the full art, I find the mutant tail and the dark amber just pops out a little bit more, and of course that's because it's a full art. But it's a little bit more dulled down. I find in looking at the artwork on the card, and the second item that I didn't even notice. So if you look at Rad Penny and near her hand, so just underneath her jaw, you can see that she has her iconic goggles here, but you can't see that at all in well, you can, but I thought that was just part of her scarf when I was looking at it on the card itself. Like I didn't know that she had her goggles there. So just little Easter eggs that didn't really notice on the original card.
Yeah, the goggles are definitely there. Like you can see them, but like if you're not a like if you haven't been a Penny fan, the goggles on Bad Penny are very obvious, right? They're like looking like a bird right around the bottom of her showl there, and they're there. But this one is more of a teasy, like, look, she does have her goggles. Like this is more proof that it is Red Penny, right? So it's neat. And to push a little bit on the theory too about her like her transformation, right? The skin tones of Bad Penny, like she's very like pale compared to what she is in Rad Penny, and I wonder if maybe like let's make a story here because like we're making stories up. Uh, what if Bad Penny before was like a half breed, like she's half Svar, half human, right? Because that's kind of what I feel when I look at Bad Penny. Like I feel like yeah, she's definitely an elf, like she categorizes as an elf, but maybe she's really a half elf. Maybe she has like some kind of dilution, and that's why she's bad luck for the elves because like she has some kind of other, you know, other creature. Like I won't say human, but I'll go with human because of the skin tone, right? And then like now with the amber, the dark amber, now her Zvar like nature is taking over, and that's why she's so diabolical. Maybe that's why she's pushing the purple a little bit heavier. Maybe the dark amber has made like fulfilled Bad Penny into the Zvar elf that she wanted to be. Writers think about that. It seems like it'd be fun.
I I think that that'd be super interesting, and I 100% agree that making these little fun stories and Bad Penny's just such a beloved character. Even though I talked about how much I'm not a big fan of the card itself, but Bad Penny and now turning into Rat Penny, like for me, I would love to see more little short stories and talking about bios about Rad Penny and what she's getting up to, and what the A and J Vinda are getting up to as well. Just that gang all together because they just seem like misfits and they're on the edge. But yeah, Rad Penny is very interesting. And one of the things I'll leave you with here as well is that a penny stolen is even better than a penny saved, and it just fits the card. So speaking about that flavor text, well, what do you feel, Jupiter, for this card? For how much does it fit the card compared to the art?
I think this one's a pretty good one. Like it's a 90-10 kind of deal. Like where the card basically is you're stealing amber and you're still getting the recycling. So like I think this one fits better than the bad penny, but the bad penny did grow on me the more I thought about the crow thing. So I think this one is a little bit better, but because it's like getting that steal effect, you're getting the full action of what she does here, which is something that I think the bad penny did not do. It just looked like somebody getting off a train almost if you take away the crow.
Yeah, so I remain that it's like I'd say it's still about a 90 10 for me. The For me the destroyed, I'd almost go, actually I'll say 80-20 for this one. All fictitious numbers. just like whose line is it anyway? The numbers don't matter. But for this one here, it's more so for the destroyed effect. I'm not thematically. I'm trying to think of how that fits in. I don't know if you have any theories about that, but I'm trying to think of like her getting shuffled back into it.
How about if she
I
gets
don't.
how about if she gets arrested and like basically she just has like ultimate bail behind her? Like she has a bail officer that basically just bails her out all the time.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that. So like she gets caught, but she has other means or bribes people. She has her people that she can go
maybe
to,
maybe
type of thing.
maybe
So
maybe old Bruno just has owns the police and like he basically that's why both Bad and Red Penny are always like easy to get back because he's one of her tokens. He's like one of her favorite.
hey, when you're part of the Shadow Council, like old Bruno, you can make things happen. So I think we covered quite a bit here, and so we talk about these fun little like story aspects. Let us know what you think of that, and if you have any theories about how the art ties in with the cards, or what you think of what we've mentioned, talking about Brad Penny or Bad Penny. And if there's anything that we missed out, let us know, and what you think of the artwork, the artists themselves, the cards, and what you would like to see covered in the future. Because we're having fun with this. So this is our second episode, and probably going to be doing quite a bit more, and hoping to get some people on. And always happy to discuss at length that for this stuff.
Yep, and I am going to hit up that. I mean, you said it all, so I guess we're just gonna say goodbye. But we're gonna first take a minute more to listen to this amazing piece that Karen Brown made for us because it's fantastic.